Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which is a little peppery, a little bitter, a little salty, and I mean, sometimes a lot. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hello, we are so fucking pumped. I mean, we'll just give you an F bomb right away because we're telling you that's how it, we don't do it a lot, but that's why you know it's intense that we're giving you one because it is what, honey? It is 90 Day Fiancé. It's Happily Ever After. This is the Tell All Part 2, No Limits. And in French, it's No Limits. You
And
know, like
in the early
part
2000s,
two.
a No Limit Soldier with Snoop Dogg and other people. But it's like what happened is that
What had happened was,
the West Coast drama and beef had gotten too much for him. You know what I'm saying? Like it was Death Row Records was too much for Snoop, and he was like, "I'm gonna go on ahead and just like meet up with some fools from the South," and thus the No Limit Soldiers were created, and they are just so much better than the No Limits Part Two. So we start off with Rose. We start off where Rose is like. And this is, I am so happy I get to do accents again. Ed always asking me for FaceTime. Oh, okay. Well, we have that screenshot. So there's my Rose. Thank you so much.
okay, yeah. Okay, well, we had that screenshot was actually like Sean Michael Robinson, no, which is like, okay, well, we have that screenshot, like Sean, okay, so this I will give this to Sean because here's the thing, she is a professional fucking woman and journalist. She's been giving this her whole life. Like she seems like, I mean, the most disciplined type A perfect person in life, so it's always been a little like, girl, you really came down from the heavens to really just be amongst the peons in this situation. That's how I've always felt. And I also feel like I'm perfect to talk to the peons and she's too good. But also God bless, God bless. Sean at least has leaned into, I think, maybe some sort of like journalistic, like, well, we have the screenshots. And I kind of like enjoyed her being, it took her a minute to find this, I can be very journalistic because I'm going to deliver receipts in a journalist, almost legal way, almost like a lawyer. If a lawyer was presiding over this tell-all, like that's almost like what she kind of gave me. Nothing will ever be based, and she'll never crack like too crazy of a joke. She's not the wittiest, but she is professional. Why?
She's professional, but I feel that she goes after certain people and then doesn't go after other people. There have been plenty of times where I have watched her not ask the hard-hitting question.
In the
Like
past,
so much more. And then on this tell-all, she just like slams Michael to the ground. Like Michael is the villain of all villains, and because we've got Angela over here crying, I just didn't like what happened with Michael.
I agree, and I'll tell you I think 100% this is the producers trying to orchestrate empathy and sympathy for Angela because she gets so much hate online, and they do for continually showcasing her. But because they have put so many eggs in the Angela Easter egg basket of being like she's like the Lord and Savior. This is like, I don't know, a lot of Easter metaphors, but like how they I feel like it was an orchestrated attempt by the producers to paint her in a sympathetic tone in order to be able to keep her on the show because she has showcased such obvious palpable abuse, and people were pissed that they had to keep watching it.
Wow, Chris.
What?
I mean,
Oh, what?
what a great, astute viewpoint. I mean, I didn't even think of that at all. Like, I love that take. I love that take because that's the only thing that could possibly explain what I watched today, what we all witnessed. And then to have like, I don't know, we're skipping. Let's just talk about Ed fuckface fucking Ed. I mean, and listen,
Yeah, okay, honey, it feels good, doesn't it?
I know that you said the F bomb early on, but I just want to let you know that every time I upload these things to Anchor, which is the place we put all the podcasts so that it sends out to everyone. I always put this as explicit. So like don't ever think that people are thinking that they're watching a family show. They are not. So Ed always asking me for a FaceTime is what I'll say again. And then there was an ask of like, do you have proof? And she's like, I have screenshot. And they produce the screenshot and Liz gets up. Now listen, okay. Liz. Her shoes are great. And Shida feels like her toes even better. But
Toes and feet.
the f-
Toes and feet.
I
Separate. Toes and feet. I was like, God bless. Okay, toes and feet. Okay.
when she gets up to go read this thing, I'm like, Miss Ma'am, sit down. First of all, sit down. Secondly, she's giving us no makeup look. Do we think that Liz has a stitch of makeup on? And if so, good for her.
Liz comes back like a glowing goddess. She looks beautiful. I love this no makeup look. Now, oh, a lot of wine. Is that wine in there?
No, this is not wine.
Coke. Okay. Now I said this before. Yeah, like Liz looks gorgeous. I just wouldn't say that this outfit is the best for like where we are, which is like a sit down tell all. It's just like she's wearing the shortest pink, tightest dress. And I love her so much, like how hot it would be to like see her at a club, like, but there's certain times and places. And like also she's wearing panties in which I can see
Oh,
like every line
I mean,
possible.
all of the panty lines,
All
Chris.
the lines.
All
She's
of
so hot though, and her thigh when she like is sitting in this couch, gorgeous. I just, it's like I just think sometimes, yeah, like none of these people have stylists. So she obviously doesn't have a makeup artist in this situation, unless you bring one. Or like we always see Natalie come full face, which I always feel like she has gone to like her friend from like Ukraine or Russia and like given her full face, and she comes and it's like obviously Liz doesn't have a makeup artist, but what she gives us is like glowing face, and no one has stylists. And like, yeah, it's very important for people to think about not only do you want to feel gorgeous and great, but like you have to like know you're the entire time you're sitting.
I mean, she really shouldn't have worn any underwear. If you're somebody who doesn't want to wear a thong, then just go commando. No panties.
She
Also.
didn't. I think she knows that she's sitting on TV, which is like, yeah, I get it. That's why you can't wear like you have to wear like if you want a skin tight, no underwear look, you got to have it be like longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yes. Also, you should wear some kind of shapewear. I mean, listen, I'm not a proponent of women being uncomfortable, but I think that I almost like because I've been watching a lot of Drag Race this weekend. I looked at her and I was like, can you just add some padding? Can we just get
Oh
like, can
no,
we get?
not at all. I
Yeah.
don't.
For me, I was like, I don't understand. Like it didn't look comfortable. She did not look comfortable in what she was wearing, and the panty lines really hurt my feelings. So she gets up, she reads this screenshot, and it's basically from 2021. So at this point, we're not talking about whether or not Ed has cheated on her in, I guess, the last 2022 when, oh no, this would have been filmed in 2021 because of how, I mean, it's been on for 52 weeks. So it makes sense. When did this start? Anyways, so she's like, basically, we just asked you, or Sean just asked you if you had talked to Rose, and your first thing is you don't remember, and then here's the proof. And she says, like, yeah, I can't, this it's obviously very true. And he gets so angry at her for being upset about that. And when she asks him, his response is, me speak no English.
That's the worst. I hate this. I hate him. Like yeah, like
And it's because he's half Mexican. He probably thinks that he can get over on that. But Ed is a white man who is like uses his is racist and then uses his half ethnicity to cover up like some of the shitty Islamophobic and racist shit he says.
this is a man that obviously had said hasta luego. Is that what I say to you? To Bilal, like not nary one fucking episode of this tell all ago. Like he's disgusting. This is disgusting. Yeah, the screenshot pretty much says, like, hey Rose, I would love to come visit you, in Philippines. Would I be could that happen? And she's like, yeah, you are welcome to come to the Philippines and you're welcome here. Like, and that was also surprising. We were like, Rose, why? But whatever, that's maybe I mean, in my heart of hearts, I want Rose to be like, and I said that because I wanted to trap him for all of you because one more time, look what a disgusting pig he is. Like I wish there was a reason why she was like, she had said that, but she didn't give us one, and God bless. So also one thing about this segment is I did not appreciate the fact that Rose was only brought on to like talk about Ed. I was like, can we fucking talk about Rose? Like, Rose, what's happening in your life? How's your dad? Rose, what's happening? You know, like is there some video we can see? Like, can we have an update about you? Like, I have never in my life cared about this man, and the man shouldn't even be on the show because he's dating some woman who's from the fucking America, you know, like, so truly, I'm sorry. I will stop saying it, but, you know, like, truly, it just annoys me that we didn't have more Rose, you know, in the sense of like what's happening in her life, I care more. So then at some point, by the way, I want to say this. As Rose is talking, she speaks in English, and then she also, like, you know, speaks in Tagalog. And at one point she speaks and then Ed answers right away, and you're like, does Ed know Tagalog? But then there's a translator that we get to like realize is right there later. And at one point, Sean, you know, like when this segment's over, Sean thanks the translator and is like, yes, thank you for your thought. And I was like, well, he didn't really, I mean, his thought was whatever their thoughts were, right? I mean, small moment. But yeah, so I don't know, like it's just basically what happens is that Ed and her just like have a, you know, some sort of like fight, whether it's like performative and whether it's real, we'll never know. But Ed like asks for her ring back and she just gives it back. First of all, never give the ring back. I mean, never. Like that's a present, by the way, women or men or whoever gets a ring, it's a present, and you can decide what you want according to your state laws. But I don't think you have to give it back right away. I think you can be like, oh, it actually goes with my outfit and I'm on TV right now, so I'll give it back when I would like it, when I if and when I want to.
Okay. Okay. The fact that you have even thought about this, the fact that you have even thought about a situation in which what one should do when one has requested to have a ring back shows you how deep your fantasies have gone throughout your life about surrounding marriage. Okay, because I have never once ever thought, like, what if he asks for the ring back? Like, the truth is if we were married and had 3 kids and married for 10 or like a whatever year, build a whole life together, and he wanted the ring back, I would be like, oh no, it is actually mine and I'm gonna pawn it so that I can get the monies from it to take care of your children, like, or whatever. But like, if somebody asks you to marry them and they break your heart or they do something,
Yep.
I have
Keyword
never
named.
just I have never thought about what I would do with the ring. I mean, my first thought would be like, I would like to give it back because I don't want to see it anymore. But you know, anyways, so
But now that you said the pawning and the monies, those 2 words came out of your mouth, and you're like, well, here's the thing. Let's just break this fucking down. Yes, if you did something wrong, if you broke a person's heart, and that person had given you a ring, and you were like, I mean, I fucked up, or I don't want to get married, or I like this other person, then I think it's like probably morally important of you to make peace with doing someone right who loved you and respected and cared for you. That is not what is happening here. But you know, like in the situation, if I'm in a situation with someone who has given me a ring and they have done me fucking wrong, and then have the audacity in that moment to ask for the ring back, and I don't know whether I want to give it back yet, because I don't, maybe I do, maybe I don't, maybe I don't care, I don't know, but I tend to be upset if put on the spot and make a choice that I feel like I wish I had given more time and space to. This is a thing within me because of my anxiety and or whatever. Like, I want also to be less reactive at moments. So I think for me, my gaining power would to be like, I'm going to choose to make that choice later. I don't have to make it now because you're deciding it. And especially knowing that like I have been wronged, you know?
mm, very, very astute. Again, I just would have never thought of it.
Like,
So Ed asks for the ring back. Everyone is like
mhm,
aghast, and so
mhm,
she just takes it off and gives it back to him. And
mhm.
Kim Bali says, "You're a dick, yo."
I didn't know who it was at first. I was like, "Who said that?" Because it was like a low voice, you know, it's like, "Yo, a dick, yo." And you're so your moment, like, you're, "Oh,
No,
who?"
there's no mistaking that voice. She
She's like,
said, "You're a dick, yo."
wow.
So hilarious. And so then
they go like so they give a little break, right? Because this is
Yeah.
like a very big deal. And so they go behind stage, and then Jenny and Ed are like a coupled up coops in this like conversation. And he's talking to her about why he did what he did, and he's like, it probably wasn't appropriate. And she was like, no, not at all. No. Like right away, like and then, they're sitting backstage and so now so sitting now in this backstage area is Andre, Yara, because like that conversation was like right behind what looked like the cameras. Now Andre, Yara, and Liz, Kimberly all said, like, Kimberly has her own chair now in the green room, and they kind of like all go back to where they initially said. It's like kind of like the classroom where you've all picked your seats and your desks. You know what I'm saying? And like, anyway, so then Andre, who by the way, like if you don't, I love Andre. There are certain people that I'm like, Andre does a lot of the Lord's work, and even well, anyway, I'll tell you. Well, at the end, I also like him. So he's like, "Are you going to keep doing this?" Wait, you do it. You do it. Wow.
Fuck. Are you going to keep, I don't know, fucking doing this to yourself? What makes you, fuck?
And then Jen answers, "Well, that's what I don't know," which is like, "Oh, so yes." Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So yes. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then Kimberly is like, if you can't love yourself, then how many are you gonna love anybody else? Okay, RuPaul, calm
I
down.
know. Oh, yeah, like, I wrote that for a while because okay, so the side note is we get to write this like whole like doc, and I saw that and I was like, she's been watching so much Drag Race. I know that like that Wall was gonna be like,
I'm
all right, Ru, all right, I see you, honey, I see you.
Yeah,
Like maybe, and then my mom was like, oh, Kimberly watches a lot of Drag Race.
I mean, maybe she does. I'm in full
Eh,
drag mode right now. I'm going back and watching old seasons. That's how like
oh,
I'm watching the new seasons. I'm watching the old seasons. Like I'm full in my fantasy right now. Then the next thing we have is Yara, like who says this because everyone starts to talk. Yara basically turns to Jen and Liz. Sorry, turns to Liz and is like, what makes you what makes you to be so attracted to him? And I said, Yara, it's the question on everybody's lips. What the fuck do you see in this gremlin ass, no neck ass motherfucker? Like what
just
makes you to be attracted to him? She doesn't say what do you love about Ed. She specifically says
no, how could you look at no, I'm sorry, let me break this down, Yara. How can you see him and then continue to talk to him? And I just know I make this clear. You put your mouth on that?
like,
Mouth on you? No, I don't get that. Let me just make sure that, I understand because it's hard. There's been times where you have let man sit inside you or stand. I don't know how you do it, but either way, you're saying no, and why and how and
and
why.
then
You
and
can tell
then
me in any language you want. I'm Yara, and I'll try, and I'll make it. I'll put in a Google Translate. I cannot understand it. What do
she's
you
like,
speak in San Diego?
what makes you to be attracted to him? And then Liz is like, well, we do really, really, really have good moments. I thought this bitch was about to say we have really, really good sex. And then I would have been like, okay, you have good moments, Liz?
On TV, Liz?
Or when? And what do those moments consist of? Sipping paint? Like what good moments do you guys have together when you guys go to the bar and get shit faced and like go home and like blackout have sex and you can't remember it, so it's great? I don't know. I do not know.
No, Yara, God bless. So we cut. So this entire time, Angela has not been on set, right? Because in Tell All Part One, she came on, she like was like, I hate you, you're a bitch. And then Usman was like, you're rubbish, you're a pig. And then she like got mad at Yara, stood over Yara, and Yara was like, you're being unrespectful. And then she like left, right? That happened. And she hasn't been there since. Like, we don't, and this, so again, as Wa said, there's like just many people that, she has like a whole posse that she has brought in. So at this point, she's talking to Big Ange again, who I think his name
Mhm,
is Jen, but it's not
mhm,
Renee, and Renee comes in later. And what
mhm.
Wa says about Renee, I died. Okay, so okay. So we get a moment of Angela, and Angela, she hates water. So
I
Big Ange gives her this water, and she has a cigarette in her hand. She puts the water in her mouth, and she just immediately spits it out as if she thought it would be something else, but it's water, or she had to like clean out her mouth first or whatever. And then she's like, "Yeah, to drink it. You're dehydrated." And then she like, "Okay, okay." By the way, this is probably the best pause picture I could have of this person, right? Why? Now I want you to also clock her BFF heart locket picture of Michael. That's Michael and her version is a heart, and then he has a version later that's like I think just maybe an oval. Okay, so we're clocking it all.
I can just say that I do love the gold necklace combos. Like I love that. I love a multi-layered different type of necklace, and I'm very envious of her her swap meet jewelry collection of the necklaces and the bracelets and the rings. I just want to say that. I say I
Okay,
want
can I
to.
say something I also wanna give her credit for 2 things also if we're looking about looks, okay? I'm sorry. This woman, like, has every ring on, and, like, she even has, like, the ones that go on the middle, like, she's being hip about that. She has, like, a bunch of piercings, obviously. Like, someone was like, "Get a fucking bunch of piercings, including this, like, mole piercing." In this picture, I also enjoy her lipstick because often super white women don't put on a lip that is good in their skin tone as they age. And I feel like often see women try and like wear like not a good lip and then it like or not even like it doesn't have enough color to it and it's awkward. So I mean, and also like this dress is a good color. Now when she sits down, like it's Lucy Magoose and it doesn't have enough support for her where I feel like it's gonna make her feel comfortable. But and the reason why I said it also is like it seems like it'd be an easy fix. Those like straps look like they're so easily what's the word?
Adjustable.
Adjustable. Yeah. Okay. She's on TV. So anyway, God bless. But listen, she looks good. Okay. Well, go ahead.
I would just like to say that that was a full maybe 2.5 minutes of talking about a picture. And those of you guys who are on our podcast listening will never know what we're talking about. So here's what you need to do is you need to go to patreon.com/docusweeties so that you can get the visual of what you are in fact listening to. It's $10 a month. We drop the episode as soon as we're finished recording it. So you get it first. And then you get to see what it is that we are talking about. Anywho, so let's get back to I hate water. Now, she's not the only person in the world who hates water. It's a thing. There are people in this world who do not like water, and that's why things like Crystal Light, that's why things like electrolytes, like water, where you get a little packet of something and you put it in the water so that it has some kind of
Hate.
flavor to it so that you can drink it.
I just
But
want to give a shout out to no, not sponsored, but literally right. There are 2 great electrolyte
no,
packets.
don't give a shout out to them. It's not sponsored. Don't give anyone
Okay.
shit.
God, I wish I could be sponsored by one of them. Okay.
Yeah, don't give them anything. Just let them know that there are packets out there that one could procure anywhere from Walmart to Target to somewhere else bougie.
I know I was like, this would feel like the same things. Anywhere from
They're not the same things. Have you
Orange
been in a
County
Walmart?
to LA.
Have you been in a Walmart?
Ones.
Okay, so Target and Walmart are not the same. So please,
Big market stores.
huh?
Big market stores. Yeah.
Okay. So rude. Anyways, so you should have it because you do need water to survive. The water that is in soda is not enough. Sprite has the same amount of water as Coke. And even if that is wrong, please, I don't need anybody telling me that I'm wrong. The fact is that it's just sugary ass drink, and you actually need to have water in your day, especially if you are 56 years old and have just had belly surgery or tummy surgery. You need all of the hydration in your body because your body takes in nutrients different than it did when your stomach was what it was before. So there's that, you weirdo. So she spits out the water like a 5-year-old. And the cast also, so go back inside and the cast wonders if she's coming back. And they're talking about her, how disrespectful she was being, and Kim and and they're just like kind of talking shit about her, and then not shit, but kind of like talking about her in general, to where if she were to walk in, she would try to fight 2 of them. But then we have a moment, she comes back in and they set up Kim and Angela to talk, and I want to know that if Kim knew that Angela was talking as much shit about her as she had been talking days up in 72 hours up into this tell-all about Kim, and how Kim better not defend Usman, and if she says anything, Angela's gonna beat her up, They sit down in there and have this fake ass conversation where they both act like all they want is the best for each other. And Kim is like, "Listen, whatever's happening between you and Usman is between you and Usman. However, he's not a scammer. He didn't use me. So, I mean, I feel like that's not right what you said about him." And then she's like, "Listen, honey. Listen. I think he's scamming you, and I hope he's not. Okay." And it's just like that. And I'm like, well, where's the fisticuffs that we were promised, Angela? Huh? Where's that fight? Where's all of that in Naji?
Yeah, Angela's like, now it's none of my business, but he's using you. No, I'm not trying to say anything other way, but I mean, no, he's not right. It's not. He's using you, but I don't know for sure, and I just want you to be aware. And Kimberly's like, I don't want you to feel sorry for me, because like Kimberly because she's kind of also on a little bit of a power trip with Angela because yeah, like you're both have an equal footing situation here. Like I don't know who here is being used and who's not, and like it's like pointing fingers and calling each other like pots and kettles and black. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And I also still kind of feel like Angela has to know that in the physical presence of Kimberly and just the two of you, it kind of is a little bit of an even match when it comes to like a physical situation. Kimberly is no, blushing flower. She's like a tall woman who has like a bigger stature and has been in the fucking army. I can like kill you, I'm sure. There's like pressure point stuff. I don't know, like anyone that's in the army, honey, you have to know that maybe like, I don't know about special ops, but like you don't know where she was. Like, maybe you could think that she was like in the mess hall, but also are you telling me that maybe she doesn't know like and then suddenly you're just like
I'm sorry. You think that the people in the military are taught like martial arts?
No, is that martial arts?
Yes, ma'am. That is all Chinese, like Asian pressure points and shit. They don't teach you that shit in the military.
Well, I think they should.
You think they're ninjas? Is that what's happening? You think that they're learning some kind of like very specialized jujitsu?
Well, I think it would help.
Okay, great. I'm glad you think it would help, but that's not actually what's happening. So perfect.
Listen,
yeah. So it definitely.
And this is like, I think we should fund the military more, honey, and I think we should give them all of the like weird. I think we should just like they should be.
Could you, if they listen? There are people who come at us who get dishonorably discharged.
My thing. I think we should fund the military more and give them Eastern practices like that. Like I think they should get like acupuncture for their like PTSD, and I also think that we should like arm them to be like in not all the ones that do all the combat, but if you have to do any sort of combat and you're gonna like learn how to shoot a gun, I think you should also learn how to like take down a foe without guns. Anyway, go ahead, Wa.
So we then go back to the studio where Angela comes on and she talks about how much pressure she's been under, and then we talk about then we listen to the audio of Michael cheating, and Angela breaks the F down and starts to bawl, and then Usman is like, "Oh, I didn't know it was this, no, I don't know why Angela doesn't want him on social media, but now I understand why." And I was just like, no, I don't like this flipping and jumping. Don't say anything, Uzma. She just finished calling you all kinds of names. You finished calling her a pig, and now you're like, oh, okay, I see. Maybe you are not the worst thing to happen to Nigeria. Okay, I understand. No, shut up. And then Michael just kept saying, Angie, it's okay, please. As though that was supposed to solve everything. And listen, this is the moment where Sean Robinson goes in on Michael. And really, you guys, all he did, and listen, you know what? Even if he was cheating on Angela, what Angela did publicly to him with Billy is unforgivable.
Renee?
No. Angela and Billy. I'm sorry, what was I saying?
Billy. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I forgot about the Canadian. I thought we were talking about Renee, like when she came in and like screamed at him. You mean just Billy? Yeah, I love you.
No, sorry. I'm saying that like even if Michael was sending "I love you" audio voice, which Andre could not get over the fact that he actually said "I love you" to that whoever that person was.
It was not just sex and money, of course, but the "I love you." I never said "I love you" to Libby. I still haven't said "I love you" to Libby, and I'm married. No.
I was just like, Andre, that is the dumbest argument ever. Listen, I don't care if you told a bitch you love her. If you gave her money, fuck you. I listen, I don't care about I love you use. I care about money. So like, anyways, so We hear that everyone is against Michael all of a sudden. And it's just like everyone is so disappointed with him. I just was like, I don't understand where all of this is coming from. And then we find out that the woman was American. And he says, I do not like ignoring people. So I went too far. I know I fucked up. I went too far. Then Andre was like, see, I knew this guy was here for green card. And so when Sean asks if they're together, she's like, yeah, we're still together. Because the reason being is because I think Renee kind of highlighted this at some point when she came out, was that because this girl never actually was in Nigeria, or they never met up, that it was easier for Angie to forgive. And they keep saying that Michael's green card is coming in any day now, any day now. And it's just like so much. So then the narrative turns into, I've done so much to protect Michael. You don't know what Michael has done to me. And I've done nothing but protect him. And I'm like, so all of your bad behavior is due to this? Like, so we should just accept all of your very piss poor, badass behavior because he's done wrong to you.
Well, what if the producers, okay,
Producers, I'm here.
have a spin-off show in line, Angela and Michael, just like David and Annie, and either Michael does have his visa, or it's already being taped, or they've already planned it, they know when the visa is going to come in, but they had to manipulate the audience's ability to watch the show by making it seem that Michael was worse than he is, in order to gain sympathy for Angela, so people would watch the show, because her behavior was in fact so disgusting and had, yes, gone over the boundary of what is watchable entertainment and which feels toxic or abusive, and therefore like not really fun and watchable. Like, what if in order to save their spinoff, they did this tell-all, and the moment that they know when the visa is going to come in, and they have things planned and some sort of production schedule. That's my conspiracy.
Okay, you're asking me what if, and my answer is that I would watch that show and we would document it.
We would?
Yeah, we have to.
We would?
Yeah, we have to. All right, and if we didn't, I would. Just call me Walwood.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Because I didn't watch Darcy and Stacey. I watched the first season, didn't watch anything after that, and I feel like I missed the boat on that. People really love Darcy and Stacey.
They do?
The Family Chantel. I did not miss the boat on Family Chantel, and people love the Family Chantel, and I got some good views from that.
Okay.
And the other spinoff, Single Life, I didn't watch the first 2 seasons, missed the boat on all of that. And apparently Annie and David is doing well too. Missed the boat on that.
No reason for us not to do David and Annie. We have, obviously, of all the reasons, of all the people we love, you know,
we have to do them, and we haven't been. So what I'm saying is that I'm not going to miss the next 90 Day Fiancé spinoff.
She's making that money. She's coming for that bag.
Yeah, I need to, like, I need money in my savings. I just moved. I have a lot of things I need to purchase. So like,
yeah, I hear you. So yeah, basically that's like what the feelings are, you know. Like, now I'll tell you right now, another thing I would have loved, another thing I would have loved is if they had brought out the woman that was behind the Instagram. I like, they you know, they ask if she's American. I'm like, oh, can't we have any more information about this person? Like, there's an Instagram account, or right, or something like that. She's like, they painted her being a super fan, or what the hell? I don't understand it. Why can't, this is the age of, like, we're in 2023. Give me a little more about who this person was. You know, like, they make it seem that he had opened up this Instagram for 30 goddamn minutes. And in the 30 minutes, he had started this affair with this, what I can only imagine is super fan, right? Like, who is somehow on the discovery page and is like, who's this person? Whatever, God bless, obviously. So that already is sketchy, all of this. So, but I think it would have been great to have who this person was, at least like in some face. I'm like, yep, I started DMing him to see if it was the real profile, and suddenly when he started sending me texts, I was like, well, how far can I make this go? And I did, you know, and here you go, and you're welcome, receipts. My name is at 90 Day Superfan in the DM, you know, like, come on, give me something. Wah. Do you love that?
Yeah.
You loved it?
No, I think that's a great idea. I wish we would have gotten who it was. And obviously, like, I love it when a 90 Day Fiancé male cast member decides to go off with someone who's in their DMs and they get caught and they're like confused as to what. No, everyone in your DMs is looking to get you caught up. because they
Yeah.
would like their 15 minutes of fame.
They don't care about you.
They
You
have
don't have
no
any money.
care.
They don't care about you. You don't have any money.
Yeah. So then this is, well, Sean then goes, Michael, how do you sit next to your wife and text someone else? And I'm like, again, Chris, your theory is absolutely correct because she needed to ask those questions to Bilal last season. She needed to ask those questions to Usman, like not necessarily the exact same question, but like with the intensity of going in. This person is just like sweating. He keeps wiping his face. He keeps looking down. At some point, it just got awkward as how much they were going in on Michael. Then Renee comes out, and Renee says that Angela protects Michael. And Renee, you guys, looks like Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
I need you guys to look at a picture of Renee,
I wish you had taken a picture.
specifically on the tell-all, and then put a picture of Caesar next. They could be brother and sister.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, but then it was incredibly obvious.
They have the same small beady eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't notice that. So everyone just go look at it. Maybe Chris will do her magic that she does on our Instagram and create some kind of like side
Mhm.
by side of like I never saw it before, but now I see it. And then you guys can have it and you'll know that you heard it here first. So um Sean then, I mean, this is another low down dirty thing that usually the producers don't do, but Sean was like, hey Michael, are you back on Instagram? And he's like, no. Or maybe they didn't say that, but that's what should have set it up. Sean says, Michael, we have proof here that you have Instagram. And I mean, just come on acting. Come on acting, Angela. She's like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. It's like the three stages of like first denial, then like confusion, and then believing.
See, all
So
the other cast members are like, yeah, he does, because I guess there was like a Soap Dirt or Starcasm article that had come out. So they all had seen it. You know,
mhm.
they're like, yeah, he does. Kimberly is like the most, for some reason, vocal, like, it's him. No, that's what they said. It's him. No, I know it isn't. Like, Kimberly was like, oh, honey, she's knee deep in them blogs.
Yes, they are all knee deep in them blogs. Like, I don't check a blog to check. I don't check Lipstick Alley. I don't. I mean, obviously, Sarcasm does the Lord's work, but like, I don't necessarily go to all those mediums to find information. But they really. I mean, could you imagine how many people, how many cast members listen to us?
No, is that true? No, I hope not. I don't want them to. I only like David and Annie, but which is probably, I mean,
No, they
which is
definitely
probably
no,
why we
Chris.
don't.
First of
What?
all, first they
What? What?
do.
What?
You
No,
you know
who?
that Jenny and Sumit. You know that Jenny at least knows who I am, right?
Yeah, but that's not me.
Oh, so you think they don't know you when I talk about you all the time? Like do you think that there are people who know me who don't know you?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird that you would think that.
Why?
Because I do so much with you. You are wild. You are a bananas bang person right now. For you
You
to
know what? It's just because I don't want anyone to ever think that I hate them. And like, I love Jenny and Sumit. Like, I'm so happy they're on the show. And I like Jenny feels like such a great person. I like Jenny more than I like Sumit. Sumit feels like a little shady.
these are lies.
I'm just saying, but I also love to make fun of Jenny. And so I don't want to think about her like, whatever, God bless. And so that's also other thing. So I like
I
to
know
pretend
you don't
that's
want to
your
think
life and
about
not mine.
I know that you don't want to think about it, but here's the truth. They do. So the fact that they're knee deep, I mean, we're not important, like we're not swaying any opinion, but like Darcy knows who I am. She's liked a post or two. She knows that I love her. You're my meme that I did of her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great name. That was
She
when we did the angel perfume.
yeah, she knows who I am.
Okay.
Because but mainly I also stan her. Like, even though I
Yes.
can talk shit, I still stan her. So, anyways, there's that. Let's get back to whatever we were talking about. This tell all was definitely just
Kinda
like
fun when
an
they
in-between
get to it.
episode that we didn't need. So then they go into the details about how Michael said in the audio that he's gonna send her money, that he loves her, and that he's then he wrote some kind of text where he's like, listen, I'm gonna get to the United States soon. I want to come see you. Don't worry, I'll take care of Angie. And so
Mhm.
that's now the narrative. But apparently that saying could jeopardize visa, and then her secret weapon. We finally figure out who her secret weapon is, and it is his uncle. And as I'm talking about this, Chris, your theory is becoming. I mean, not only did I believed it in the beginning, but now I'm like, I think you're right.
I know I'm right.
Because what other reason would they have to she have to bring her uncle when Angela literally showed her titties to his wife? I don't know if it's his wife, but she showed her titties on national television to another member of his family, his aunt. And so now the uncle is like, it's an abomination to
You
cheat on your
are,
wife.
yeah, like to have a priestly uncle type character come on and suddenly chastise him like a divine being, like, you are an abomination. You have sinned, where you're just like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
"Did-
Okay. Yes.
no one in your family is like, Michael, please run from this woman. Like,
Yeah.
actually run. No, why wouldn't you be like, Michael, I've seen what she has done to you over the years and how intensely, you don't have a relationship and you will never be to, like, this is a very like, I don't understand any part of this, but yeah, except that I am I'm a genius and
Yeah. So then the uncle is like, Angela, I began talking to Angela a couple of months ago when she came to me lamenting about Michael. And I think to
lamenting.
myself, like, Angela must learn a new word in the English language every time she speaks to a Nigerian
What's
person.
lamenting? Wait, one second.
Lamenting? What's that
Lamenting.
word mean?
Oh,
Kind of fire saying dentures flying
Oh,
out
it's
of her
kind of
mouth.
complaining. Oh, complaining? Yeah, it's what it's it, but not bad in a bad way. It's kind of like, why is this happening to me, God?
I know Angela loves Michael, and I'm here to ask him about it. Everyone is on Angela's side. I
Yeah.
mean, now everyone is like, oh, it's perfectly normal for Angela to just show up in Nigeria and come and knock on Michael's door at 3 a.m.
Yes.
I said, bitches, do you guys not remember? It's not a normal day. She didn't walk up at noon and knock on the door and say, hey, Michael, just came to surprise you, brought my friend. This bitch rode to his house at 3 a.m., drunk as fuck, rolls up to the compound and starts banging on the door like the police.
You little bitch, come out here, you little bitch. Like, what?
And everyone's like, oh, no, it's fine. She's perfectly warranted for doing that. She's your wife.
Makes sense to me. You know what? You're the one, the weird one that didn't expect that your wife would come out of the fucking blue and be. You should, anytime you hear that beautiful voice, you should drop whatever you're doing and let her into your space. I mean, yeah, no, it was so specifically, I think, targeted, and that is what it is. And I then, if that is the case, then Michael is in on it in such a way then that what is real and what is not, and who is a victim and who is not, and who is being abused and who is in for a ride and who is making choices. And I don't know any of it. And you, of course, if this is real, then you'd be like, well, battered man syndrome. And that would be a thing that you could talk about. But this is like some commercial entertainment show, like, for entertainment purposes, where what can we put our hat on and what can we really think that we have to be moral about? I mean, I don't know. That's my question. I'm posing it to the listener. Please go to our Instagram and tell me, like, this is the real shit about watching the stuff. We don't talk about these couples because they're horrible, but if everything is fake and the production is leading us to want to watch a spin-off show about them, I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you put your foot down and you're like, well, you did too much in the storytelling of this characters or this character relationship, and we say no to them? I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, but either way it goes, if there is a spinoff, Chris and I will
Watch.
be covering it, or at least I will. So there's that. At this point, I'm like, Michael wants this, and like, here I am just to do it. So, anyways, they go off of that, and we have a moment where they take another break, and we have Angela talking to Big Ange, and she's like, you can't change nobody, and Yeah. Then we have Libby. So then it's like a Andre and Libby portion of this, which is a couple that we talked about, and it's a lot of F bombs. And I'll do my best to do my impressions of every moment of this. So we start off with Sean being like, "Oh, and Libby, you have a side career, and how is that going?" Well, yeah, the my big headed baby, she really loves my nursery rhymes, and yeah, so I'm having a good time. I finally have that passion. Like, I love working with my dad, but I really wanted to figure out like what makes me happy. And all I want in my life is to just be that person who can just be like, yeah, yeah, sure, working with my dad is fine, but I just want to know what I want to do in life. I'm like, can my dad get a business that I can work for him? Because I would just work for him. Um, anyways, so then she's like, "Can you sing for us? Can you give us a little bit?" And we're like, "Sean, no, we don't want it." And Sean is like, "No, just give us a little bit." And the audience is like, "No, Sean, we don't need it. We already
I
know. We already."
agree. Why are you telling me? No, I want anytime that you can put someone on the spot and make them sing a cappella. Honey, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. No, I was so happy. Again, yeah, no, I was like, oh, thank you, Sean. All right, professional. Yeah, honey. Like, and then of course she's like, oh, I don't like to be put on the spot, which we already know because we've seen what it's like to put you on the spot. But guess what? You're gonna do it again because it's that much fun. Like, I'm sorry, you can just go around saying you want to sing and then not want to sing. I'm sorry, like you're gonna sing. So go ahead and sing. And she sings what? The thing that she always sings.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
I wish. But she sang Mary Had a Little Lamb. Here's the thing. Now, for rights wise, she can't sing pretty much anything unless it's like in whatever the free
Mm-hmm.
thing or her own song or whatever, so she can't sing. Like, for instance, she had done a cover of Blue, that song, like Blue, which was, she did a good job of that, but like
Can
she
you sing
can't
it for me? I don't remember what song is it.
Blue, that one.
I know what it is. I'm just kidding. I just
Okay,
wanted
let
to
me,
do it again.
so anyway, that's it. So so anyway, yeah, basically she can't sing that on national television. She has to sing something, that's Mary Had a Little Lamb. Like, the only free song I know, because I had to do a little research, is When the Saints Go Marching In. Free song.
Wait a minute. So Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is not a free song?
I don't know. Why did you? I don't know.
Oh, you said you
Why
did
would you?
research and the only one
That I remember.
was. Oh,
No.
okay, okay.
There's a lot of free. Sorry, I mean, that's the free public domain list is a whole list of
Yeah,
free
yeah, that's
songs.
what I
I
thought
do
too.
not know every song on there,
Yeah,
but
and
the
that's
one I
what I
can
thought too.
remember in this
Mhm.
one moment is When
I
the
thought
Saints
you knew.
Come
I thought
Marching
you
In.
knew
I don't
every
know
song
why
on
you
there,
would.
so she's
What a
trying to
weird
get
thing to
some
assume. I was
clarification.
like, you assume things all the time. I'm like, I didn't fucking say that. That's crazy that you think that. Okay, so I didn't say it. I don't know why you thought it. So here's the thing. After that part, we get into like the real crux of Libby and Andre's drama, which is not her like burgeoning lullaby career. It's in fact, just getting the drama between her family, speaking of like spin-offs they really want us to like, love and care about. So what we do is we get Charlie and we get Becky who enter the chat. Now, here's another example, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Becky looks gorgeous. Like, she comes in with a green onesie, one piece, kind of like an Angela looking, but like different, because a different color green, where I'm like, oh my God, if I watched you walk into a restaurant or if I watched you walk into an affair, a gala, a like any sort of party wearing this, a New Year's Eve party, I'd be like, or Christmas, whatever the fuck, I'd be like, oh my God, that is gorgeous. What a gorgeous outfit. But she sits the whole time. And because she sits the whole time, I don't get to have like all of the draping, beautiful fabric and these long, gorgeous pants. And I don't get to see like the way that this necklace is going to like drape down like your physique. I just like, it's just, it, choices can be made better. Well, but here they are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Okay. Anyway, so of course we go into an Andre Charlie battle, and this is a good one because these are two personalities that are very funny. Andre and his like accent, and then like Charlie and like every other his like bro accent, braccent, not black sense. I'm saying brack. I'm saying brow a bro accent. No, his
Yeah, I
bro.
just all you have to do is just think through that joke a little bit more and, like, come up with the word that is, like, brocent. I think it has to be brocent.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because it sounded like Megxit, Brexit, and Blackson at the same time.
I know it, and I tried to get through it, but you're right. It's brocent.
And I'm here to support you. I'm here to support you and to give you the feedback required.
Did you mean a new joke? So
Mhm.
yeah, like, and then so yeah, go on. Give me all of it. Do it.
So then he's like, "You are a drunk bum." And then Ed is like, "Well, I've never seen you in an argument not drunk." And Andre's like, "Fuck, who's fucking talking to you, no neck motherfucker? Shut the fuck up." That's not what happened, but that's what I wish happened. And then
I
what's
wish
his
he would
face is
make him
going,
shut up.
hmm?
I wish he would make him shut up.
And then on what's this the brother keeps saying bro, yeah, like man, bro, like bro. And
Bro.
Andre's like, bro, no, you'll never make anything in your life. You don't even have car. I said, whoa, we telling folks business. We
Why
telling
don't
folks business.
why don't you have a car? Is it because you have DUIs?
Mm-hmm. 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 So they
Ooh.
show the footage of Becky and Buki's fight with Andre. They also show the footage of Becky and Buki having that conversation in the boxing ring with Libby, where she's like, "Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be deported because of blah blah blah, and I'd have to go with him." And Becky's like, oh, "Well, fuck yeah. I mean, I'm glad you can go." And then she fully pulls back and is like, "I was smiling through the whole thing. That means I was just kidding." And then we have Libby being like, "What the fuck? Did you just fucking say the stupidest fucking thing ever come out your fucking mouth?" And I was like, wow, that's sisterly love, is that not? So then Andre at some point says, "Motherfucker, you are an asshole then." So like they Becky announces that Andre was in the US before he married Libby. So this is not his first time in the US. And I'm like, we knew that. Why is that being presented as new information? Like I remember that from like their first episode or first season or whatever. So then Andre tries to act like, oh well, yes, I didn't stay that long, I only stayed 2 days. And then the lawyer steps in and is like, actually, oh, forgot to announce, the lawyer comes on stage, or at least she is zoomed in. And the lawyer's like, I advise my client not to answer that question, like basically admitting to the fact that he actually did overstay his visa the first time he was here. And then at the end of it, basically Andre and Becky make up. In the in between time, Angela says, now the devil may make it look like it's Charlie. And Angela is just like, Angela, you know that you're voting for the wrong person, right? Like, even though you might feel the reason why you feel like you need to step up for Charlie is because you see a lot of your rotten ass soul in him. And so you're like, oh, let me defend him because I would want somebody to defend me the way I talk shit or the way people talk shit about me all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and defend Charlie. We didn't need it. She's going to actually bring up the devil. And I was like, Angela, you are the least godly woman that I have ever seen traverse the face of this earth.
Yeah, I will say this. I just did a little deep dive. I found one DUI and one arrest on his record, on Charlie's record. The DUI was like 2005, and I think the other arrest was while he was on probation for that, the DUI, which was like a cocaine, like being found with cocaine on him or whatever it is. But all of that's like like aughts. Like none of that happened like in the last decade, or at least what it says. So I don't know why he wouldn't have a car. And I know that they are making bank because, his wife is on OnlyFans and she's very active in the top percentage of it. So what?
He's on OnlyFans too
Oh, yes.
with
I didn't
her.
Yeah, they have an account. But oh yes, but you're right. We know that. And the website. The show made it seem like it was her account only, and that he just
You
takes
know,
pictures. And not only does he not just take pictures, he's in the pictures, and not only that, they are graphic, and we know what his butthole looks like. What?
I also know what his penis looks like.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So
Oh no, Anything
I
about it?
mean, listen, it ain't bad.
Mm. So why
It
doesn't he have
ain't
a car?
bad.
Yeah, maybe he Ubers everywhere. That's not that bad.
Yeah. So, then Becky and Andre have like a conversation outside it, but I think it's because seeing her sister pregnant and seeing all the drama, even though Andre was like, she's not, if I tell her not to talk to family anymore, she's not talking to family. She's with me forever and ever. And then they're like, Sean's like, Libby, is that true? Like, you would not talk to your brother anymore and
Wait,
you
wait,
don't love
wait.
your brother?
She's like specifically, she's like, so you're saying that you don't care about your brother? Like that's
Yeah.
like what it was, and it's like, yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy that is just going to flagrantly say like my wife doesn't care about or love her brother like if I say so or I don't want her to like, and so that's what it was like to
Yeah,
care
and so
for.
she's like, "Well, no, Andre, like I love my brother and I care about my brother and I always will and I care about every member of my family." But, basically what she's trying to say is that if it doesn't serve her and it's making her unhappy, she will, not necessarily sever ties, but like keep a very long distance, which is what you would say. So I love the fact that she was like, "No, Andre, no." And he's like, "Okay, Lib." And and so then we get a scene where I think Becky's, I don't know if she's pregnant with her second child or pregnant at this point in it, but she's definitely like, I don't want to not be with my sister anymore. I think this tell all was like the first time we're starting to see her have some kind of levels when it comes to her sister and Andre, or she's just playing this character because they're getting a spinoff. And so there needs to be some kind of,
Bridge.
well, we're going into this not hating Becky because she has tried to make amends with Andre and Libby. And then there's even a hug behind stage after the tell all. And then we have a whole moment where the couples leave. Chris, you want to say anything?
God, where I'm so bad to think of it. Like I do every time like Andre and Becky like have any sort of interaction with each other or like hug or touch, because I'm such a horny person. I'm just like, like what are you guys like? What's your sexual chem like? And do you feel sexual chem? No, because we're married. How horrible for me to say, but we can say it, because no cast members ever listen to me. They only listen to Wah. Right. So, but so that's that a horrible thing to say? I know, yes, because they're married and like kids, like, and I'm, whatever. But I can't. It's just, they're both hot people. Everyone's hot. I always think like, what do you guys like to? I'm just like I'm like kind of like a horny like like teenage boy. I'm always just like, what do you guys like in bed? What would you guys be like in bed? What's he like in bed? What's she like in bed? And together, and like let's, I'm like, I don't know what I think. It's all fantasy. You know me. So yeah, like it basically is just a lot of Ed and Jovi trying to let Andre know that maybe he should, and this happens throughout the episode, start to think about himself being like the person that's at fault and in between his wife and their family,
I have a question.
Yeah, great.
This is a non 90 Day Fiance question. This is a docu-sweeties question. And I'm noting the time so that I can cut this out if needed. 56:55. Okay. Do we want to end it now for those who are, because it's about to be a minute, it's about to be an hour. Do we want to end it now for those who are podcasts and leave the rest for Patreon?
Oh yeah.
Because I really think at some point I have to start, like right now I don't listen to the whole entire episode. I just make sure that the beginning of it matches with the intro, and then I just like export it and hope for the best, unless I know that there's something I need to remove. So what I'm saying is, so that it's like there is some exclusive content for Patreon, that we do that
Yeah.
now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So why don't we so why don't we say like basically this is the end of the tell all and like this is the end of the tell all of what they're filming and then they're going to go back. So why don't we wrap up with saying this is where it ends. We're going to get they're going to branch off the couples. We'll tell who the couples are and then but we won't say what happens with the couples and all of the next part will be on the Patreon.
Yeah, something like, hey guys, we're going to end the episode right now. If you want to know the details of what we thought about the after the tell all, the couples hang out, you can join us on Patreon for $10 a month at patreon.com/docusweeties. And that's part of the exclusive content that we're going to give to our people who are in our Patreon. So thank you so
Okay.
much for joining us. Have a fantastic week. Don't forget to give us 5 stars and bye. Something like that.
Okay. Can we do a version where it goes like this? Okay.
Go.
So the last thing we said were, but you can use that or, but just, okay. Wait 1 second. It's turning into, okay. Possibly, okay. Basically, at this point, Sean Robinson calls the end of the tell-all the version that is supposed to be the studio, and she sends everyone onto their day. Jenny's really funny because Jenny's like, "Can we change?" And then Walt brought up a great point. It's because they have to change out of the outfit we're seeing. So like VPL pink satin and like whatever it is, that's Liz's outfit, and the green Angela outfit. They have to put that aside and then put in their clothes and go back to the Time Hotel, ha 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 ha, for night number 1 because the tell all part 1 and 2, of course, again, the first day of filming, and tell all part 3 and 4, I guess, will be the second day of filming, which we'll see in the following parts. Now, at this point, the producers are still producing, and this is like, they say this really early on, and it's like so great. They're like, we're going to pair you up and send you back to the hotel, which was like, oh, like, it is great. The first pair is, and this is such a great reveal, is Andre be like, okay, and he goes in and it's Andre and Angela together in a car. And I'm like, oh, yes. And by the way, like, we'll see the other couples. Now, here we are. I'm going to give it to you, podcast listeners, on the real. We're going to finish talking about everything that happens in the bullshit and like the awkward scenes after this for our Patreon. We would love you to listen. If you want to, you can. And Wah will tell you how to sign up. Other than that, can't wait to hear you and talk to you. Can't wait to talk to you about episode 3 and 4 in the upcoming weeks, babes.
Patreon. This is what the behind the scenes is. Aren't you happy you're here to witness it? So, all right, you guys. So you can listen to us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties if you would like to get all that Chris tried to describe to you that you would get if you signed up with Patreon. And Chris is also going to tell you where you can find us with our socials.
Yes, which is at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. I'll tell you this right now. Well, I think we have to cut the first part of this and make it a conspiracy theory, put it on TikTok or a reel right away. Because I feel like people.
When you say we, mean you, because you're our social media person.
I have so much to do today. I'm like a little overwhelmed. We could talk about this in a second. Anyway, yeah, I just thought because I think like maybe it'll be shared, and because it just happened, and Michael was put to like put out to pasture. I mean, it was like, or he was like burnt like a wish like a steak. You know what I'm saying? Like they burned him, like, like he didn't deserve it. But at the same time, I have to think that he chose this, he like knows I'm assuming that he's like, all right, I have to do this because this is how I will get to America and be more of a reality star because I don't know. This is my theory. And I really need you listeners and especially Patreon people to tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but mostly I'm right.
Where can they find us on the social medias, Chris?
I already said it.
Oh, great. Perfect. So do that. And we'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, great. So that was 56:55 to 1:02.
It's like, yeah, your one was good. I guess I felt like we hadn't finished talking about the episode to be like, that's why I was trying to ramble like that last little bit to get out the end,
No, I feel you. I think I did. So I'm going to go back and listen to it to see if that's true. And if I didn't, then I will put yours in.
Yeah, you said like, all right, guys. So that was the end of the episode. That was the first thing you said.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to be like, that was the end of the seatbelt. Yeah, I'm trying to like, clarify the structure of what they were trying to do.
No problem. I'll look through it and check that. Okay, so for those of you guys who are in the Patreon, you're here. You pay.
We haven't ended the broadcast yet?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's go.
Oh.
Bye. Oh wait.
We're not going to talk about the rest of the tell-all for our Patreon?
Oh, I thought it'd be a separate file.
Oh, no, it's
you're
gonna
right.
be I'm just gonna literally cut it. Renee, you see how she's trying to treat you? Renee and all the rest of you. Just kidding.
I don't know why I thought it had to be a separate broadcast, my love.
It doesn't. No, I'm just gonna remove this from what I edit and put on Anchor. Cool. You know, we're working through it. We're working through it. I have some tacos over there and I really want some tacos. And I'm not hungry. I'm gravelicious, as my dad would call it. Okay, so let's finish talking about the rest of the tell all,
Yeah, the
where the
couple version,
couples
yeah.
leave. So, as Chris was saying, Andre and Angela are in one car together. And I love how they say, like, Andre, go downstairs. They're going to pair you off. And I didn't know who they were going to put him in the car with. I thought they might have put him in with Jovi, but they put him in with Angela. And Angela's like, let's go get a drink. I'm just like,
sorry, Libby.
yeah. So then Andre is like,
dress. She changed it back to her green yarn dress with a cutout. She's probably feeling herself, you know, like. Also, you would think they're such alphas, both of them, that if they hate each other, it'd be scary to put them in the car. The producers had to know that they weren't gonna be like you know, you can't put one beta fish in a tank with another beta fish because they'll kill each other. Yeah, even though we're talking about alphas, there's beta fishes, and they're like the most beautiful fishes, right? Like all the fins. But you can't put two beta fishes like in a tank; they'll just kill each other immediately. They'll just like fight, and they're fighting fish. I think they might have like some name that also is perhaps racist, something like African fighter fish. Have you heard of that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what a beta fish looks like. I know what a koi fish looks like, but I don't know what a beta fish looks like.
I'll send you a pic.
Okay.
Anyway, go on.
So yeah, it's funny how Andre's like, he's not, it's crazy. He said, I love you. You know, sex, money, sure, but I love you. No, I don't. That's wild, crazy to say. And he's like, Angela's like, okay, that's fine, it's great. Haha, let's go get a drink though. Let's go get that drink. So then they pair up Bilal and Ed, and I don't remember what their conversation in the car was because Ed just looks like literal Humpty Dumpty sitting on that wall, and I just walked out of the room. Then we have another car with Kim, Shida, and Liz. And let me tell you, the producers say what I thought this entire time. Shida's name is Shaida, but that sounds really close to Shahida. And the producer calls her Shaida. And then Bilal accidentally says something, or someone accidentally says her name again, and they say Shaida, which is another version of Shahida. It's the same name, just one puts an H instead of a double E. I'm right. I just feel so vindicated. I don't know what to say now. But Chris, go on ahead and say what that conversation was about Liz's toes.
Okay, first of all, yes, absolutely. First of all, okay, so we know there. So I love me, by the way, what Shy or Shaida or Shada. What is? I don't know. I'm sorry.
They're saying Shida is her name, but her name is Shaida.
Yeah, it's Shaida. Okay, so what she's wearing is this like peplum style Burberry-esque print full suit. I don't know where she shopped, honey. Where'd you get that from? Like, I know that's gorgeous. Good for you. And Kimberly is wearing like an Hermès print top. I think we've seen that one before too. Which that like beautiful like equestrian look I like.
Kim is wearing designer?
Hermès looking.
Oh, looking. Okay, great.
Wow, see your pattern of your hat?
Yeah.
That's Hermès looking.
Oh, is it? It looks like Versace to me. I don't know. I guess I'm.
Oh, you know what?
Styles up.
I can see why you would say that. You know what? And if you're looking at it, it's because it has this clasp thing. That's anyway. Maybe it's a little Versace, a little Hermès. I'm not quite sure. So I forgot. But anyway, this is where all three women are in the car, and obviously, since we've talked mostly about the only two couples, this one was Angela and Michael, and they're not in the car, but obviously Liz is, and Liz had to go through that thing where she had to give the ring back, and now she's in this car with these two men who are like, oh my God. And Shy's like, I'm not trying to like, you know, hype you up, but you are a beautiful woman. You have it all. You have nice toes. You have nice feet. You have nice skin. And I was like, nice toes and nice feet? You have nice eyebrows. You have the nice eyebrow hairs.
I mean,
my eyebrows and my eyebrow hairs? You like both? Wait, what?
I said, so women are checking out each other's women's feet now and then like commenting on it. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. I don't want it.
Listen, if I clock a woman's overall hygiene and the way she carries herself and the way that she presents herself and the way that she, you know, like that's all a thing that is micro judgments that I will tell you that I do, and I think I'm not alone. Whatever. And not just women. We all do this to everyone. It's how we take care. Like I look at everyone, I figure I do like a quick scan of how I think you take care of yourself. Is your hair washed? Is your teeth clean? Do you feel like you brushed your, I mean, like, what's happening top to bottom? Because I'm a female, I know also like other things like, yeah, I get my nails done. I don't always get my nails done. Had a micro viral moment because I had chipped nail polish 2 years ago. So I'm not saying I have to be perfect or whatever. God bless. Long situation. That's this like for the Patreons only. But yeah, like if I go down a leg and I see that it's a pedicure, I will be happy about it as a female. Now, if I like the color, will be like, oh my God, I like that pedicure. It's not so much her toes that I like or her feet. Maybe they are, oh, you have such delicate feet. I feel like I would just say it, but I don't know if it's like, boy, those feet and those toes. I don't know. But maybe she's just being nice. Also, here's the thing. If you are anyone who's ever been with anyone who likes a foot, and foot fetishness happens in such a way that I think that sometimes I'm like, oh, if you like mention feet or toes to me, like in such a way where I find it to be like in a place where I wasn't expecting it, I get like a little like perky perk, and she does it again.
Okay.
In this car ride where she says like nice feet, nice toes, nice, like that's one thing that happens, my loves. And then when they go to the bar later, she says it again. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of
Wait a
fucking
minute.
foot talk. A lot of foot talk, Shy. What?
I don't know if maybe in Shy's culture, having pretty toes is an indication of stature, wealth, grooming, providence from the Lord. And I could easily see that being the case. I
Mhm.
have been told by many a nail lady that I have pretty feet. I don't particularly think so, but I can only imagine based on some of the hobbit toes that I have seen traversing this world in an open toe shoe, that I'm on the other end of a pretty toe. And when I tell you just different places, like, oh, you have nice feet. I'm like, thank you. So it might be a thing in other cultures. Just for me, it's and it's weird for another woman to say it to another woman. Even if I thought, oh, she has a nice foot, I would never say it out loud.
Wait, she has one nice foot? She only one and the other one I'm not sure about, honey.
Yeah,
Only the one?
just the one nice foot.
Just one nice foot, honey. Yeah, I just like again, it's just the way you say it. It's like, yeah, maybe it's just a cultural thing. Like, like, oh, I like that pedicure. What color is that? Oh, like, oh God, I don't know. Oh, you have small. Oh, you have small. You have. I mean, maybe I'm being like, okay, you have pretty feet. Oh, good for you.
Mm-mm.
Not just like you have pretty toes, pretty feet, and then later on, like look at them feet again. Like I saw them only 20 minutes ago, and I missed them, and I see them again. I mean, I remark on them again. Just like it was just a lot of foot talk. Okay, so yeah, as I've already mentioned, the Timeout, honey, has a fabulous rooftop bar that they get to, I guess, just relax in their illusions lounge. Like it's
Wow. She went back to season 5. She went back. There hasn't been an Interiors Illusion Lounge in seasons, my friend. Now it's just untucked, and they're actually on the set. They're back in the workroom.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Interiors Illusion Lounge. It's so funny because like I didn't know what Interior Illusions was, and you did because obviously it's in West Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
store that was in West Hollywood off
Yeah.
Melrose. I didn't
And
know
I
it was
didn't know.
Melrose.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I only saw the Interiors Illusion space one day when walking down Melrose within the last year. I feel like it was this year. And when I was walking to the Village Fool or whatever, remember that bar by your house that I would walk
Village
to
Idiot.
sometimes? Fidelia, yeah. I think it's near there, isn't it? I think it is.
Village. You know what? There's okay. Wait. There's no. The Village Idiot is in Newport. There's a Village.
It's the Village something.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's the Village Idiot too. I do think it is. Because
Okay.
remember,
Okay.
there was a moment in my life that I literally forgot about until just now where there was somebody who wanted to meet me there.
Did you like the feet, Bob?
We didn't get that. We didn't get past.
Okay. So
So
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So anyways, they get there and Angela makes it truly about her. She is hollering for everyone to talk about how Michael hurt her feelings. And Jenny is like, "This is New York, guys," as though she's from New York, and was like presenting it to the rest of the ladies. And then Kim is like, "Oh, no, so nice, yeah, so nice."
Jenny's loving it. Like, I wonder if Jenny's like, stay at this rooftop bar. Let's go out. Like, I wouldn't you have like, I would love to see Jenny like at Carmine's, Jenny like at the Statue of Liberty, like Jenny taking in like a Broadway show, like, listen, there's a Michael Jackson musical happening on Broadway right now, and Kimberly would enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kimberly, it's too bad you're here for 2 days and you can't go see that Michael Jackson Broadway musical. So anyway, so yeah, it's more about that's a boring part. And then I've already said this, like the Andre versus Ed situation is great. So like throughout the first part of it, like he refers to him as Big Ed, but then he realizes he can also call him Small Ed. And that it's a little more authentically true.
And he's so like, it's almost like he didn't realize he said it. He's like, "So what you think of Small Ed?" Like, and then Jovi and him start to talk about Ed and how he was disrespectful with snatching back the ring. And then Liz comes in and they pull her into the conversation and they ask her, like, "Hey, just want to let you know that while Andre and I don't get along about a lot of things, on one thing we are aligned, and is that what happened to you is really fucked up. And no man should talk to a woman like that," which always bothers me when people say, like, it's very heteronormative to be like, no man should talk to a woman that way. It's like, no person should talk to another person that supposedly they love in that manner. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with gender personally. Guys, I'm on a journey. So then she's like, "Yeah, and he just said I was performing," because prior to, Liz and Ed had some private moment that we don't care about where they talk, and he's like, "No, you were performing. Like, you all of a sudden just went against me when everybody else is down my throat." And she's like, "Well, I wasn't going to be fake and I wasn't going to lie. Like, you were not telling the truth." And he's like, "No, stop performing." And she's like, and that triggered me because my mother, whenever we would get into arguments and I would like tell her passionately how she was making me feel, would literally shut her down. And her first thing would be like, "I'm sorry, you're not on stage right now. So if you could stop performing, that would be great." That's what my mother would tell me. She's told me that twice in my life at very pivotal moments when I've been like, "You are breaking my heart and I don't understand why you don't like me." That was her response. And I'm like, "Well," and I remember them vividly because my world shifted and I was like, "Oh, you're not a person worth my time anymore."
You're not safe. It's not a safe reply because it's a gaslighting thing. Oh, whatever you're feeling, I'm so defensive that it's not even real.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
it cannot pierce me if I label it as not a real thing.
Yep.
Now, this is LOL in a bunch of ways for Ed. Ed is like, first of all, Ed should not even be on the show. So like Ed should be Ed, and I've always felt this, should be on his knees, which doesn't take much long or isn't a big deal for him because it's like, 1 centimeter down. And he should kiss the toes and feet of any woman that would ever be with him. Okay. Period. The end. He is disgusting. And it doesn't make any sense for him to have any sort of like pride or ego. And it baffles me that like he doesn't understand that. But I mean, here's the thing, like if he's alone for the rest of his life, I would understand it. And if I am too for saying such a thing, then hear ye, I will only speak the truth. Liz, I don't know why she's with him. It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's the same reason why Michael's with Angela, which is that they're on the show, and if they're not together, they're not on the show. I'm not quite sure. You tell me. But I will say that like it is LOL for him to call her performative, because in my mind I'm like, aren't you all? Also, I will say this, the editors or the producers made it seem when they went to go have their talk, the way that they shot it and they showed it in the "this is what's to come" part before we actually saw the scene made us feel like for some reason they go upstairs to fuck. But they don't. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh no,
They're
I
like coming
didn't.
up next. Okay, so in the coming up next, before we saw this scene, right? Like in the right commercial break before, it showed Liz and him talking and then them going up, like walking upstairs, leaving the group party to talk in such a way that made me feel like I was like, oh my God, are they gonna go bone? I was like so upset. That's not what, of course, what happens. He calls her performative, and then she's like, what? And then he comes down, and then everyone tells him what a shitty person he is. And
Yeah,
When
so
Angela
while
comes in
she's
the room.
yeah,
Go.
so while she's having so after that, after he refers to her behavior as performative, she goes to get some more champagne, and she's in there with Jovi and
You
Andre,
have
and
mimosas? Why don't they have mimosas there at the time out in New York? I thought that was a bad thing to keep in. I'm like, mimosa New York rooftop bars
they just had
don't
no
have
orange
mimosas?
juice. No orange
No.
juice.
Okay, we could ask them. You should have a Bellini. Put some peach juice in there. Ugh.
So they're like, yeah, well, that really sucks, and you're not wrong for that. And then he walks in, and her back is towards him, and he's listening to them. He gets more wine, and he then calls her a performer again, and she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, just saying what happened." And she goes to walk away, and he just keeps hurling insults at her. And then Jovi's like, listen, I'm not a part of this and it's none of my business. And he's like, yeah, stop being a PUSSY. Yeah, you're such a
Oh,
PUSSY. And I really just thought to myself, like, if you, Ed, can say whatever you want, but the moment it comes to actual physical violence, you will be on the ground. And you're lucky that they can't fight you.
also, if he is a PUSSY, then you are a little hemorrhoid. That is what you are. You are a little hemorrhoid. That is, you look like a hemorrhoid.
Yeah. And so again, though, Jovi is unable to. Jovi's like back and forth. This really is annoying to me. I wish that Jovi had so much more like juice in the tank, some gas in the tank. I wish he had more quick comebacks. He never does. Um,
Well, what do you want from a man? I mean,
don't
yeah,
defend
that is.
Jovi. No, no, no. Do not defend Jovi.
It's
At
not
every
that.
moment.
Why do you expect wit and fast from someone like Jovi? That's
Well,
that's too
I
much.
can want it.
That's too much to want.
Okay, continue.
I mean, basically, like it feels like to the audience that everyone is here at this bar and they can't wait to go back to their rooms. They know they're on camera, but they've been filming all day. They've been filming all day when they're filming and when they're not filming, still filming. I just think to myself, like, every one of these people want to go back. Like, Andre's there having drinks, like, he doesn't like these people, like, I know if it was me, I would wanna go back to my hotel room and order room service so bad. Now, they're all happy that they get, like, some food, which really goes to show you how truly horribly they're treated by protection all the time. They get some, like, mediocre buffet during this, like, rooftop bar moment, and they're like, "Oh, thank God, food, they gave us food," like, sometimes they're eating out of containers, I don't know, God bless, but, I just yeah, like, it's the only sad thing is I know because of, like, rights and stuff, it would be so much fun to at least send them all out on, like, friend dates and have, like, New York experiences together, but they really can't have those experiences again. They don't get the rights to film, and so, like, the New York time rooftop bar with no mimosas and by the way, again, what hotel doesn't have orange juice? Are you t like, what I mean, not even, like, fresh like, I'm saying, of course, you don't have fresh squeezed, but, like, truly, you don't have, like, a bottle of Flora Natural somewhere, like, in the, like, goodie shop? You can't just open and make a mimosa? That's crazy. This is 2022 in New York.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Um, so then Liz and Ed have another argument, and then Angela comes into the room and she wants to stand up for Liz because Liz has come down complaining to the girls about what Ed has done. And when Liz comes down to complain, Yara's like, I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't want to hear anything else about Ed, 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 Ed. And so she gets up and goes, who knows where, to hang out with who knows who.
Her hotel room, she can't wait.
So
Damn it. Bathtub.
yeah. So then Angela comes in to try to defend Ed or Liz to Ed, and then we cut there. And that is the end of the Tell All No Limits Part 2.
Now, of course, we get previews for the next one. So I would say one part of the preview that I was really excited about to see the next week is where, like, Kimberly is like, gets a little Lisa Rinna, if you cross country, because she's like, listen, honey, when they come for me, I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna own it. And I'm just like, all right, I can't wait. I mean, here's the thing, like, it depends on what they're gonna say to her and what they're gonna come for her, and we'll see. But you know, uh they have more people to go in on, and I can't wait for that to transpire. Yeah, I will say this. I don't know if I've like verbalized this, but I've thought about it enough to think that these are my fave three characters of 90 Day Fiance of all time, and they have one blaring thing in common, but it's true. My favorite three cast members of all time. This is very like Patreon exclusive. What?
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah, okay.
you can.
I just wanted I did was like, maybe you wanna say something before I say this. Okay, number 1, Anfisa. There's no, like okay. Number 2, Yara. And number 3,
Natalie?
Natalie.
Yeah, you like those Eastern European women.
Yep. And they're all different. Like, listen, I'm not like Caesar, where I'm like, hey, they're Eastern European, they're for me. Although I guess I a little bit am like Caesar, but they're all very different, right? And Fisa was like, top, like if we had seen more of her, like she was almost like basically abusive. She was so mean, but she was so like yelly. You know, Natalie is bananas crazy and like insecure and like I'm so great woman. And Yara is like a little more like with it and like the voice of reason. So all these women are very different. And it just so happens that they all are Eastern European, and I love them. They're my favorite top 3.
I want to say who my top 3 couples are
Okay.
because so I want to say I'm gonna say that Yara and Jorge, not Yara and Jorge, Anfisa and Jorge because of Anfisa, right? So I
Yeah.
have to put those of them in there,
What if
and
you
then
like because of him?
Pedro and Chantel. I have to add Pedro and Chantel in it because I mean, really, without Chantel, we don't have Miss Karen, and without Miss Karen, we don't have Harvesting the American Dollar, which is hands down one of the best and craziest things ever had been done said. And then the next one is David and Annie. Even though I don't watch their spinoff, but honestly, like David have no money. I had the most fun talking about them. And then if we're talking about like single people, it would be Darcy. She would get her own like little thing for Darcy, and then who else did I love? I think I said that's all comes off the top of my head.
Mhm.
But it's so interesting because you were talking last week about like the big superstars of the show, and you were saying it was Angela and Michael. You were also saying it was Chantel and Pedro, and you named one other couple that was like I think maybe David and Nanny were like the superstars. And I had never truly thought about it in that way. No, you said it was the Silva twins, or at least Darcy. And I never even really thought about it that way, but that you're right. So anywho, those are my people.
Great. Well,
That's it, you guys. So we want to thank you so much for joining us here on Patreon, like, and watching us walk through like a way of giving you guys exclusive content as is promised. And this is an easy way to do it, a very clear way of doing it that honestly and transparently doesn't require a lot of editing prowess from me, because the Lord knows that while I am now editing our stuff, like I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm very much doing our best. And I'm happy that the last couple of things that we have done hasn't required me to go in and do some major editing. And that means that anytime that Chris yells, it's just loud because I don't know how to fix it. So, or anytime I holler, like I'm just like, well, you're just gonna get like a blown out sound situation. I'm doing my best. But anywho, so thank you so much for your patronage. And you know where to find us on the social medias.
yeah.
This is a different ending than normal.
Yeah, we're just going to end it. But I will say, are you okay? Well, I'll say, wow, what's your next live on your YouTube gonna be?
So I go live every Saturday and I talk about Love After Lockup and I talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. I do realize today or
Mhm,
last night that they
mhm.
actually dropped 2 episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race and I only recapped one of them. So I'm going to have to go live tonight to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race season 15 episode 2.
Oh, had you watched? So so it was a surprise episode, you didn't even know it was there? You're like, "Oh my god, I get another episode?"
Yeah, so I went over to watch it and it wasn't available because I bought the season on Prime, and so they don't give it to me the moment it's on MTV. Like they wait 24 hours or something to give it to me. I don't know what happened, but in the morning when I woke up, episode 1 was available, and so that's all I did. And I was like, "Oh, that sucks. We have to wait till next episode to get the conclusion of this first, episode of the season." And then I went back in last night to do something, and I was like, "Oh, episode 2 is there." So I went and watched it and I was like, oh, you know what I was doing? I was watching the pit stop on YouTube and I was like, oh my God, they're talking about stuff I didn't watch. And so then I went back in and saw that they had actually dropped episode 2. It was available. So I watched that and now I need to talk about episode 2.
That's great. I watched so many episodes. I'm trying to catch up on Sister Wives, and it's so great. I cannot believe it. Like, anyone watch Sister Wives? Like, again, nothing happened for 17 years, and now everything has happened, and I just like it's unbelievable. And I just because I was watching it like, and I mean binge watched it with Monique, and Monique had already watched it, so I have to go live. Why I'm talking about this? I will go live on my channel to talk about it. I'm obsessed. is that it's almost like working out. Like, like when you have to when you're trying to get back in shape, they're like, you have to work out consistently. You have to put in the time, and you have to kind of keep your head down and don't worry about results, and the thing about it is, yeah, you just do the ritual, you watch it, you do what you need to do, and then at some point the hard work pays off. And there's a dramatic and invisible change. And that is exactly how I feel. But could you imagine working out for 17 years and not, and you lost 3 pounds or got 3 more ounces of muscle, whatever you want to do, and three things happened. And then suddenly, I mean, it's unbelievable. Cody is bananas and crazy. I just everything that comes out of his mouth. I'm just this season of Sister Wives has been, I've already said, transformative. It's just, I just loved it. I'm not even done.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question.
Yes.
So wait a minute, has it truly been 17 years or just 17 seasons?
It says 17 seasons, but what does that mean?
I mean, because think about it. 17 years ago, this show started when you were in your early 20s?
Wait. Okay, it started in 2010.
Okay.
So what year is it? So it's 13 years.
Okay.
17 seasons and 13 years. You're right. That's not.
Well, I mean, and it's not that much of a difference, but when I think of 17 years, I think of 20 years. And so when I think of 13 years, I think of 15
years.
Yeah. So when I round up in my brain, 13 years seems a little bit more doable, but still that's a lot of years. We went through the full aughts. We went through the Obama administration. We did a lot. Trump, throughout that time. And it's crazy that all of these women finally decided to do it at the same time.
The first season, is anyone watched Sister Wives, is when Cody, having had the same 3 wives for 20 years, starts to court a 4th wife. And now I don't want to spoil things. So but here, so I'm not going to, I will talk about the show.
Wait, don't we know that the wives leave him? Don't we? Oh, okay. It's not in the show you're watching. I see what you're saying.
Well, we definitely know Christine has left him. And we know that there's some issues with Mary and Janelle. And Mary and Janelle, at these tail ends of these last episodes I'm watching, and what I know from some things, I mean, no, I think everyone's gone but Robin. And from what I last read, there might be more episodes of Sister Wives where they start seeking.
Oh, I love a seeking sister wife.
I can't even get my head around if I just I cannot believe because all the kids we've watched and the kids hate him. I mean, I can't even. And they are so obviously very fundamentalist Mormon, polygamous family. They have 18 kids, and the 18 kids now are all over the place in the spectrums and diversity of where we are now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he has a transgendered. His first daughter, his first born is not Liam. Lee.
Wow.
Yeah.
He has 18 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that each wife has 4.5 kids.
One wife, Mary, has 1 child. Then the second wife, who was Janelle, I think has 5 or 6. And Christine has 5 or 6, maybe 6.
Wow.
He adopted 3 children from Robin.
Okay.
And he has 2 children by Robin.
Okay.
So wait, that's
so technically it could be 16 kids. 15 kids.
Of what he personally.
Yeah. So sired? 15 divided by 4 is 3 point. Okay. Wow, they have 5 kids from him. Wow. So you watched when their kids were little and then them having more kids. Oh.
And the whole what was crazy was him favoring Robin and watching the other women be like, no, everything's great. That's all I know. Yeah, sometimes, polygamy can be hard, and it's God's grace to not be jealous. And yes, we would be honest to say that it can be difficult, but that's what we're called to do.
Wow.
And now Christine's oh, I fuck that religion.
She's gone from the religion too? Good for her.
And it's she's also that specific sect of FLDS, whatever, like, whatever that specific sect is, she's royalty from that church, like, her dad was a big ass deal and stuff like that, so, like and it's interesting because Cody has admitted to a bunch of crazy ass horrible things, like, he has said that he never was in love with Christine, that he was, like, not attracted to her ever, and that he, like, did what he had to do. He had to, like he kissed her and, like, held her hand, but, like, why would she do this? Like, as if why would she stay with you if you never like, it's crazy what he's been saying to her, like, I mean, like, she comes out looking like a fucking saint, like, the most, like, divine female iteration of strength and power and reclaiming her power this season to the billions of TLC mostly female fans, and he looks like the devil incarnate, like Beelzebub, who on top of it all is now like, all my wives have left me and it's all their faults because I didn't wasn't patriarchal enough, I didn't put my foot down enough, instead of being like, he basically just picked a wife and would only hang out with that wife. And then COVID happened. When COVID happened, he was ultra conservative with his COVID rules, but he has 18 kids. So he basically was like, I'm just gonna, like, be only with Robin and those kids, and never see you all, and instead of whatever he was gonna do. And so it obviously created a rift between the whole family and him, and he, like, he won't see it. He was just like, none of you guys would listen to what I said about COVID. So anyway, now Christine and Janelle, who are two of the wives, are best friends, and he doesn't even understand why Janelle has taken Christine's side. And Janelle's like, "Oh, it's because Christine raised my kids."
Because she worked. I remember that.
Yeah. Janelle's like, Cody's like, "I don't understand. Like, why don't you like Robin as much as you like Christine?" And it's like, Christine raised my kids. All of my kids, Christine. We want to be. When it comes to Christmas, Christmas was Christine and her kids. It's not with
And
you.
Mary was the weird one who had that whole like catfishing situation occur. She also only had one kid from him, which is probably seen as like a negative thing. Who knows what her body, or if she even wanted to have more kids. Maybe they stopped having
We
sex.
do
Who knows?
know. We do
Oh,
know. That happened in season 1. They were gonna go get through IVF. She just couldn't have any more kids.
oh,
And
so
it was a whole thing.
yeah, he probably treated her like shit because of that, and them eyebrows
He
too, the
hated
really really
Christina.
thin eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, no, all of them have horrible eyebrows. From top to bottom, if I could do if I could do one thing for that family, it's just like get one of those 18 kids to, like, go to eyebrow school and then just, like, come back and, like, teach the family how to fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I also like think that Mary, for me, from just whenever one episode or two episodes I saw here or there, felt like she always felt like he chose other women over him. Like because she was the first wife, it always felt like she was mad that he chose the lifestyle. And I don't
Well,
know if because he got the second wife pretty soon after her, right? Or
yeah,
were
but
they together for a long time?
no, they didn't he didn't shoot. They were already in she knew when she married Cody that she was a polygamist. Her family is too. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So she already knew
It's
that.
always been, yeah, they are members of a church, my love. They were, like, I
No, no,
mean,
I know that, but not every woman who marries like maybe I'm getting it mixed up with another franchise that I watched, but not every woman who marries like a man thinks that he's going to take a second wife. I'm getting it mixed with something else. Then that's what I'm happening.
okay, yeah, yeah. Her parents were polygamists. They all had second wives and stuff, and
Okay,
third wives. Like, so there was just it.
so
Yes,
she
the
knew.
answer.
She
Oh
knew.
yeah, yeah. They all, yeah, they all were from their parents. They all have
You know what
multiple.
it is? It's because they didn't have like bouffants and like plain dresses that I thought that they weren't necessarily fundamental FDS. Like I think there's different sects of the
You're right.
fundamentalist that I'm unaware of. And because in her wedding photo, she didn't give off, the prophet gave me away. So I didn't think that she was a part of that like polygamist. I didn't think she grew up as a polygamist.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Yes, she's not Warren. She's not. They're not obviously in the Warren Jeffries situation. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not. They're not full stay sweet and obey. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but they're in some sect of what I don't want to. When I say the FLDS, I didn't. If that is, and I'm so sorry because I'm not. If that is a very specific sect, then that's not what I mean. What I meant is just a fundamental sect, obviously, of
Yeah.
Mormonism, so fundamental that they still believe in polygamy, which obviously the Mormon Church mainstream doesn't. So any group
Yeah.
of Mormons that would believe in polygamy would be fundamentalist
Yes,
and
you're
or
correct.
fringe.
You're correct. My mind went to a very specific place. It's so interesting too, because I think with what little I saw from them, they very much normalized, and they normalized polygamy in a way that I haven't seen it normalized in our in our society, specifically with the Mormons. Like, because of the fact that I usually think of like Warren and that
Yeah,
group
that
that
was
are
the
very
point.
much, that it's very much like this is what women wear and they stay in their place and they don't work. So the fact that Janelle worked,
Mhm.
like, led me to believe that they were some kind of different form, of that. Like, he was creating his own space within that. And then I watched Big Love too. So if you watched Big Love on HBO, you did get a very specific version of that, which is probably what I'm getting mixed up. So in Big Love, Bill Paxton married his wife Barbara, and they were together for 10 years before he was like, God has told me to pick a second wife.
Oh,
And so like then she like they prayed on it and whatever. Then he gets the second wife, and the second wife is from the bouffant hair, wearing of one solid color. Sh-
Mhm.
she's from that sect of the polygamists. And so then he brings her into his home, and he grew up in that as well. And then he like got kicked out and then married his wife Barbara, and were together 10 years, and decided he wanted a second wife, and he chose a second wife from the community in which he grew up in and was kicked out of. And she was supposedly supposed to be some like mole in his family to like tell back to her father, who was supposedly the prophet. And
Wait, is this
then
Chloe or is this
this is Chloe.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so she's like crazy. She comes out on the outside. She no longer dresses in the pilgrim dresses, but she does wear like a lot of jean and like long skirts. Whereas Barb is like, what? Barb works, and she's just like a regular Mormon who's joined this. And then where we pick up with Big Love is that season 1 is he's bringing a third in who's not even Mormon.
Oh,
So
she's
it's
not
like,
Mormon.
yeah. So it's like a different situation where now we have someone who's raised in the Mormon church and who didn't want to be polygamous, but her husband told her he should. They should, and that's where the God was taking them. And then his second wife is like a fundamentalist, born and raised, whose mother is like wife 13, but managed to make herself the first wife because of her politicking and skeeving and conniving. And then the third wife, who is just like, I really love Bill, and she's the youngest and the hottest and the one that he fucks the most. So
That's
anyways,
Robin.
yeah.
That's Robin. And now that's why if they do another season and they do Seek and he gets another wife and it's not and he starts to favor that one over Robin, then I will die. He also has another thing that he also does, which is he's like the fucking Leonardo. I'm gonna make this joke by the way. If I do another live, so you have to be okay with it. He is like the Leonardo DiCaprio of like dads. He only likes kids until they're like age 5, 6. And if there's a younger one, he jumps ship. He only likes babies. Okay, I have to go because I have so much work to do. And also, side note is my favorite thing to do is just sit here and cut my split ends. Don't worry, that's not the work I have to do. I have to like actually clean. But I love
Yeah.
you guys so much, and I have to go.
Yeah, we thank you guys so much for being here. So we're gonna end this broadcast in this like extra special version of 90 Day Fiance Tell All No Limits Part 2.
This is no limits. No limits to shows, honey. No limits.
Alrighty. Thank you guys in our Patreon. We absolutely love your support, and we'll see you, next week or later on this week with more stuff. We hope you feel amazing this week. Okay, bye.
Bye.